Imagine a world where one single battle changed everything, a world where the course of history took a dramatic turn and the future we know today never came to be. This is not fiction. This is the reality of wars that shaped humanity forever. Picture Athens, the cradle of democracy, its mighty walls crumbling, its proud citizens in chains. The once great empire now lies in ruins, defeated by Sparta in the Peloponnesian War. But this is more than just another conquest. This is the moment that opened the floodgates for a new power to rise. From the ashes of Athens emerges Macedonia, and with it a young king named Alexander, whose ambitions will stretch across continents and millennia. But what if Athens had prevailed? What if the golden age of Greek democracy had continued unbroken? Would we still have the same philosophical foundations of Western civilization, or would our world look unrecognizably different? Now fast forward centuries later, and picture a storm of horsemen sweeping across the plains of Asia and Europe. The Mongol hordes led by Genghis Khan and his descendants are not just conquerors, they are a force of nature, reshaping the very fabric of civilization. As cities burn and empires fall, something unexpected emerges from the chaos: the Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting East and West like never before. Ideas, technologies, and cultures begin to flow across continents. The world becomes smaller, more interconnected, and infinitely more complex. But what if the Mongols had pushed further? What if all of Europe had fallen under their rule? Would we have seen a fusion of Eastern and Western cultures centuries before globalization? Or would the world have plunged into a dark age from which it might never have recovered? Now the scene shifts again. It's 1914, and the world is about to be plunged into chaos. A single gunshot in Sarajevo ignites a powder keg of alliances and rivalries. The Great War erupts, and with it the old world order crumbles. Empires that have stood for centuries collapse overnight. New nations are born in the crucible of conflict. And from the trenches and battlefields emerges a world forever changed. Technology leaps forward at a terrifying pace. Tanks, planes, and submarines revolutionize warfare, while advancements in medicine and engineering transform civilian life. The map of the world is redrawn, and the seeds of future conflicts are sown. But what if Germany had won? What if the Central Powers had emerged victorious? Would we have seen a different kind of globalization under a German-led Europe, or would the world have descended into an even more catastrophic conflict? But the echoes of the Great War are not done reverberating through the lens of history. We see how this conflict set the stage for an even greater confrontation. World War II looms on the horizon, a conflict so vast and terrible that it will redefine the very concept of warfare. From the ashes of World War II, two superpowers emerge, locked in a struggle that will define the latter half of the 20th century. The Cold War begins, a conflict unlike any other in history. There are no massive battles, no dramatic invasions. Instead, it's a war of ideologies, of espionage and proxy conflicts. It's a war that pushes humanity to the brink of annihilation, with the threat of nuclear Armageddon hanging over every decision. But from this tension, from this constant state of near catastrophe, incredible advancements are born. The space race sees humans reaching for the stars, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. And in the shadowy world of military research, a new technology emerges that will change everything. The internet, born from the need for secure communication, becomes the foundation of our modern interconnected world. But what if the Cold War had turned hot? What if the tensions between the US and the Soviet Union had erupted into open conflict? Would we be living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland? Or would the fear of mutually assured destruction have prevented the worst from happening? As we look back on these pivotal moments in history, we can't help but wonder about the what-ifs. What if a single decision had gone differently? What if a key figure had lived or died at a crucial moment? The possibilities are endless and mind-boggling. Consider the ripple effects of these wars. The fall of Athens didn't just end an empire. It reshaped the entire Mediterranean world and set the stage for the rise of Rome. The Mongol conquests didn't just redraw borders, they created connections between cultures. that had never before interacted. World War I didn't just topple empires, it gave birth to new ideologies and power structures that would dominate the 20th century and the Cold War. Its legacy is all around us. From the technology we use every day to the geopolitical tensions that still simmer across the globe, we are living in a world shaped by this conflict that never erupted into open warfare. But perhaps the most profound impact of these wars is not in the changes they brought, but in the questions they force us to ask. What is the true cost of conflict? How do we balance progress with preservation? And most importantly, how can we learn from the past to shape a better future? As we stand here now looking back on millennia of human conflict, we are faced with a choice. Do we continue down the path of war and destruction? Or do we learn from our history and seek new ways to resolve our differences and advance as a species? The wars of the past have shaped our present, but it is up to us to determine how they will influence our future. Will we be doomed to repeat the mistakes of history, or will we forge a new path, one that leads to peace, prosperity, and progress for all of humanity? The choice is ours. And as we contemplate the wars that changed humanity forever, we must ask ourselves, what kind of change do we want to create for the generations to come? What battles are worth fighting? And how can we ensure that the next great turning point in history is one of unity and advancement rather than division and destruction? So as we close this journey through the wars that shaped our world, I leave you with this question: which conflict do you believe had the greatest impact on humanity? And more importantly, what can we learn from it to build a better tomorrow? The stage is set, the future is unwritten, and the power to shape it lies in our hands. What will you do with it?